A bad day for the official Aprilia riders. Alex Espargaro fell at the start of the sprint and Viñales finished very far behind. Viñales tried everything, including the gamble of taking a soft fitment, in vain. I put the medium tire on the front. I started to feel that it was giving way all the time, throughout the lap. So I came back and said let's try the soft, because like that, I won't even be able to finish a lap. I tried but I had the same sensations. He lamented at the end of the day's assessment. The number 12 saw the finish 37 seconds behind after 11 laps. That's 4 seconds less per lap compared to yesterday, except that yesterday I had a bit of a margin, whereas today I almost fell 7 times, he described on Saturday evening, himself stunned. The only explanation comes from the change in conditions from one day to the next, after the passage of a big storm during the night from Friday to Saturday, which made the grip precarious. Where some took advantage of it to excel, like Marc Marquez, the Aprilia riders collapsed. The conditions changed and I had no grip, zero. You can't do anything, just try not to fall and that's it. You can't lean in the corners. The team is trying to understand what happened. Obviously, we understand that the track conditions were very different, with very low grip, and we are outside the window to make the tires work, Viñales continued. I think it goes way beyond the setup. More than the setup, it's about grip and the tires, or the grip of the track. We seem to be on the side of the grid with the least grip, so as soon as the track loses grip, we go out of the window to make the tires work. That's what happened. Just as taken aback as his teammate by this radical loss of performance compared to the day before, when the track offered good grip, Espargaro had another subject on his mind on Saturday evening. His fall, caused according to him by the dirt on the asphalt washed in by the rain. Echoing the words of Pecco Bagnaia, who himself was caught in a big slide at the start, the Spaniard considered the conditions unacceptable and said he had warned the authorities, in vain. When we arrived on the grid, we pointed out to the Dorna guys that on our side, Maverick and I, on the left, it was completely brown. At the start, it's clear that I slid and lost a lot of positions, then at the first braking I locked the front and hit the ground quite hard, he described. For me, these track conditions are unacceptable. After 5 laps, half the grid, or even more, were doing 1 minute 50, which is Alonso Lopez's time in Moto2, Espargaro pointed out, describing a super dirty, super slippery track. For me it was even worse than in Qatar or Indonesia in the past, except that we are in Europe and we have a lot of resources to clean the track. I can't say anything more, he continued. I went to see the race director on the grid and I said that it was dangerous to start like that the left side of the track was completely brown, and the answer was we know. Refusing to specify who he spoke to on the grid, the Spaniard simply added that it was with Dorna, with someone really important. The Aprilia riders can only hope that the general grip will be more favorable to them, as Espargaro concedes that these conditions are not an excuse, given the superiority displayed by the other riders. We have to understand what is happening with the Aprilias. We can't even use the last centimeter of the tire, so it's embarrassing. One of the analyses we make is that the Ducati works well more or less everywhere, while the KTM and the Aprilia are irregular. Yesterday, when the grip was high, it was as if KTM was not even in the paddock while the Aprilia were extremely fast, and today it is completely the opposite. The KTM are good, they are fast, Brad Binder and Pedro Acosta had a good race, and for the Aprilia it was impossible, continued Espargaro. Maverick and I finished second and third yesterday, and today we don't score any points and we're very far from the leaders. You don't understand what to do when there's no grip because I changed the settings radically and there's no improvement, so it's quite frustrating.